Chairman and CEO Mike Splinter. Mike, congratulations. I'll bet you were just dying to tell everybody what your numbers at the top and bottom were just so you could see the jump for joy. It's like a delayed Christmas reaction, huh?
Well, I don't know that it was that good, but certainly a lot different than most of last year, where earnings calls and profits were very hard to find.
Well, what's going on this time around? Where are the numbers coming from? Who are your major customers? Are they coming from Asia? Are they coming from Europe? Are they coming from elsewhere? TSMC, Samsung, Intel, all of the above. Where's the real driver of what we saw this quarter?
Well, first of all, the big strength is in the semiconductor equipment business. Once again, this is at the heart of Applied Materials. Most of this business is certainly outside the United States and more than 70% in Asia. But what's happening here that's different than I think at any time in the past is that the concentration of buying is very extreme. Really, the big companies, as you mentioned, TSMC, Samsung, Intel, Toshiba, these big semiconductor companies are the ones that are adding capacity right now and spurring our growth in the semiconductor equipment space.
Okay. Now, Mike, I do want to ask you if it's covering the spectrum from the biggies, the big guns, all the way filtering down. You know, the names that I mentioned a little bit earlier, they're buying equipment. But what about the smaller guys in this space? Or is there a lot of consolidation and momentum at the very top with the obvious household names?
Right now, it seems to be the big companies. We're still expecting those other companies to start investing in the next quarter or two because demand is not being satisfied yet at this time, particularly in memory technologies like dynamic RAMs and flash memory that's used in iPods and iPhones. These products are not yet meeting demand, so more capacity has to be added. We're expecting many more companies to start adding capacity in the second half.
Hey, Mike, it's Susan here in Hong Kong. So if you expect the companies to continue adding capacity in the second half, what about this drive to cut jobs at Applied Materials? We were looking to cut 1,500 jobs over the next 18 months back in last year. So how is that going so far? Maybe you're going to reel back on this.
Well, we've really tried to re-engineer the company. We've taken a long, hard look at the way we do a lot of different activities throughout the company. We're expanding our manufacturing in Asia, both in Taiwan as well as in Singapore. We're doing more R&D in Xi'an, China. So there's a number of major programs that are going on. But right now, with the steepness of the ramp in semiconductors as well as in display and in solar, we're a little bit of that is going to be delayed and re-looked at.
Mike, let me pick up on the solar thing. A day ago, President Obama came out and basically gave a big moral push for the adoption of state-of-the-art nuclear energy technology, saying it's really a must for America to upgrade its antiquated grid and all that. I mean, I'm sure you would have been a happier man if President Obama said we must really elevate solar. Rather, I mean, he mentioned solar, but it was kind of in the second or third sentence. Has there been any pullback in, basically alternative energy solar panel initiatives, something you've been branching out from to, cut your reliance on the traditional lines of business, which you have?
No pullback at this time. It's actually quite interesting. If you look at nuclear power and solar energy, these two are very complementary. You use nuclear power for the base load. You use solar power for the peak load. So actually, I'm happy that President Obama said what he said. But having looked at that, most of the solar development and application is happening in Europe, primarily in Germany, but there's growth in deployment throughout Europe. We expect to see that progress in 2010. And what we'd like to see is the United States, China, and India really pick up the rest of the growth late in 2010 and 2011 to absorb a lot of the capacity that's coming on, particularly in China, to make solar panels.
What is the CAGR for the solar side right now? And is it going to be leaps and bounds ahead of your traditional line of business for the rest of the year?
Actually, there's two segments. If we look at end demand, we think end demand's going to be up about 50% year over year. When you bring it back to capacity adds, in one segment of our solar market, in the crystalline silicon segment, we think volume is going to be up almost double year over year. But in our thin film side, it's going to go a little bit slower. When you balance all that out, we'll have modest growth. And depending on how the second half of the year go, it could be even better than that.
Mike, Susan here again, here in Hong Kong. Let me just pick up on that. You said higher volumes, higher capacity. What about acquisitions going forward? Recently, Applied Materials bought up a semi-tool, which helps in preparing silicon wafers. But going forward, I mean, how many more acquisitions do you plan to make?
Semi-tool, we just finished this acquisition this quarter. It's very complementary to our business. We've been collaborating with them for years, and it really puts us in the heart of a new segment in the semiconductor area of advanced packaging. We think that area is going to grow very, very quickly. If we look over the last 5 years or so, we've been able to make quite a number of acquisitions, quite successful. So we think that this is a complement to our investing in our core products and our organic growth. So we have a great balance sheet, and we can acquire companies if they're complementary to us, if they're in the right market, and if we can get them at the right price.
Mike, not to put you in the hot seat, but I kind of love doing that to CEOs. How come I'm always talking to you from that beautiful TV? How come I'm always talking to you in your beautiful TV studio out of Mountain View there? How come you're never next to me here or in Singapore or Beijing? Is that a loaded question? Maybe I just kind of caught you between trips.
I don't think so. I'm in Asia quite often, Bernie. Not so much in Hong Kong, but quite often in Singapore. And in fact, I may see you there in a few weeks.
Okay, wonderful. By the way, just one final thought, and it's completely off topic here, but we just celebrated, is that the word we use?
Yeah, we can say celebrate, the Lunar New Year.
No. Well, that, yeah. But also the one-year anniversary of the American Recovery and Reinstatement Act.
Basically,
the stimulus. Mike, we're kind of doing a roundtable of, thought-provoking commentary from gentlemen like yourselves who run real businesses, create real jobs and make real things. A year out with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, what did we get from the hundreds and hundreds of billions thrown into the economy?
I think we're still seeing the money come into the economy. So I think the jury's still out on how the overall stimulus is going to impact both jobs and industrial growth in the United States. Really what we've seen in the second half of 2009 and the first half of 2010 is effect of the Chinese stimulus that motivated lots of people to buy flat panel TVs, buy computers, and this is one of the elements that's really driving the chip business and our flat panel business so far. We're hopeful that consumer confidence is going to grow in the United States, that jobs are going to grow in the United States, but still unemployment here is quite high. And that's still a worry on the overall scene of the economy.
Mike, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for being so obliging as always and so clear and transparent. And do make us at Bloomberg Television your first stop every quarter, okay? As you know, we are the source. Mike Splinter, Chairman and CEO of AMAT.